It helped to have a great team like you guys kind of guiding me and giving me the confidence to know like, hey, I knew what I was doing and just kind of went for it.
Brian here from the Lenhart team at Coldwell Banker Realty. Hey, I have a special guest on here today. This is one of our agents, Eric Gogerty. So Eric's got a fairly interesting story, I think, when it comes to real estate, where he's been an agent now for 3 years, 2 years?
3 years.
3 years,
3 years
as an
August,
agent.
yeah.
Right? Okay. Right. You joined our team
July of last year.
So just over a year, right? And then you made a big change here in, was it June? In June,
Yep.
You left your full-time job because you were a part-time agent for those 3 years. Now you're full-time.
Yep.
And I don't have enough fingers to be able to count how many contracts you've put together since then. Tell us a little bit about, I think, the difference of what it was like when you started versus what it's like now.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you for having me on. This is great. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is just the focus. So when you're working part-time, you're managing two jobs, essentially. So there's the time you have your 9 to 5 job, and then you have your time after whenever you can make real estate and helping clients. And real estate is kind of a on the flow, on the go type of a job where, you know, you're on their schedule more than your schedule. And I think I kind of had to push a lot of things out to the weekends or at night where sometimes that wasn't availability for the clients. So I think once I made it full-time and made it priority, it was a lot easier to set up appointments and see people. Also, when you don't have a full focus on helping people, I think they can feel that, right? Because you're kind of 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. You don't have that complete focus on everything. So I think once I made that switch, it was just kind of like go time. You know, I knew that I had to put all my, everything in it because if I didn't sell anything, I wasn't going to make any money and not eat.
Famine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly
so,
how it goes.
And it helped to have a great team like you guys kind of guiding me and giving me the confidence to know like, hey, I knew what I was doing and just kind of went for it and just said, if this doesn't work, I gave it everything I had. So, and it's been working great, and I appreciate everything I've been doing. So
what do you think is the big difference between your skill level of where you were at a year ago versus now? And like, what do you think was the biggest contributing factor to that improvement?
I think it was the confidence, getting used to the transactions and understanding kind of each one, understanding clients' needs. And once you've done it so many times, right, you just feel more confident naturally because you already know what to expect. Where the unknown is very like uncertain and you don't feel as confident. You can kind of fake the confidence going into it, but doing it so many times is eventually you just become confident because you're like, hey, I've done this. I know where to go from here.
Yeah.
And once I seen the results built more confidence. Like, hey, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And just kind of just feeding off of that. What
do you think is your big skill set or the thing that you bring to clients these days?
I guess my skill set, I really try to look to help everybody, is no matter if I can't help them in that moment right there. It's really the guidance. The guidance in whether maybe this is not a good fit right now. I think you even told me before too, like sometimes you got to tell people, hey, I don't think it's the right time to do this.
Yeah.
And then they almost respect you for it because you're not trying to overly sell them and like, oh, we need to do this right now. You're more of just a friend or a family member helping, like, hey, I think I think people feel that and appreciate that because it's a genuine interest for me. Like, I want to help you. I want to it's the biggest decision anybody's going to make in their life. And one of the most expensive things you're going to buy, and having somebody to help you there. And that's what I guess really kind of look forward to. And I think people appreciate it. So I
think that's one of the most important skills as a real estate agent is being able to take somebody's situation, understand it as a whole, and help them decide whether or not it's right or not. And being able to tell them not to do it if that ends up being the case for them or the best fit for them is always being able to, one, understand the problem and then going to the right solution, regardless of whether or not you get paid for that or not. I think that's a hugely important thing. But I think when it comes to being a real estate agent, I think you've done a great job at that for sure. So now I got to know how many transactions are you going to end up with by the end of the year?
Well, so far I have 5 closings with 2. They're kind of pending. So as far as we're still working out some details there. So the goal is to get at least 7 in October. And I obviously
7 in 1 month.
In 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is the goal for October for sure. And then obviously we kind of know winter can slow down, but from what we're seeing, it might be a great fall.
It could be a busier winter than we
I
usually
think
have.
To get 5 more on top of that, I think that would put me close to 22, 24 transactions for the year.
Math this out for me. From the time you started full-time in June to the end of the year, How many closed transactions
From
do you think
June?
Yeah, from June on.
Well, I just hit 10. So we did 717 plus I do an extra 5. That's the 22.
Dude, all in
Yeah.
there, right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. The thing that is really impressive about Eric, I think, one, he has this great ability to develop rapport with people, I think, or just to be friendly to them. You know, every time you hear Eric talk on the phone, he's always asking about how they're feeling, how they're doing, you know, something that they really enjoy. And it's never really the conversations of, hey, when are you going to buy a house, or what house do you like, or when are we going to do this? None of that actually ends up being Eric's first priority. I think the first priority for you is, how are you feeling? How are you? Let me check in and check on you. I think that kind of, you know, friendship first and caring about the client first, I think is really attributed to a ton of your success. And I think then also being able to take that strategy behind it to go, hey, let me see how I can serve you, or how I can help you get to this next point. You know, that's been, and I think also as a real estate agent, maybe listening to this, is also realized that Eric is 100%, I think, you've won nearly all of our monthly challenges since you've been full time. When it comes to the amount of phone calls, or the amount of appointments, or the amount of just inputs that he's putting in comparison to everyone else, is there's a reason for that success. And you know, there's so many times that we talk about that input, or that looking for those opportunities and trying to reach out and putting in the work. It pays off, and it's paid off for you a ton. For sure.
Absolutely. So, and you know, it helps I'm competitive, so when we have these challenges, I always like
no, that's
but yeah, no, I think the biggest thing is, you said it, is being friends with people and being genuine. It's not like an on and off switch, right? Of real estate to me as an agent is every day, every hour, and I'm your friend, you know, and I'm always going to be the same person. I am that guy. I'm not just faking it. I'm genuine about getting to know you and
caring
whether
about
you buy real estate. I have people that didn't even go with me, and they still contact me. They still call me and text me and ask me questions, and I'm not even helping them as an agent. So, but yeah, no, I enjoy it.
Well, we're so excited to see your rise to success. You know, it's been,
I'm excited.
It's been a beacon of light, I think, around here for sure. And something I think that I know any new agent should look to, of going, hey, how do I become successful at this? You know, you really show what you need to do and how to be able to get there. You're currently, you're on your way. I'm excited to see where you end up next year and in the future in real estate for sure. As a real estate agent, a lot of what we do is discovering a problem, solving that problem, putting a plan together to help somebody get from their house to the next house. So you want to describe kind of one of the stories you've had recently of a client and kind of their success story and how you put the plan together?
Yeah, absolutely. So husband and wife, they were looking to get closer to their daughter who was planning to have kids. So they wanted to be close for when the grandkids came, and they wanted to live in Hugo, and they had a house to sell in Plymouth. And they needed to sell that house to buy that house. So in Minnesota, if you're contingent on a home selling, your house selling, you can be bumped if your offer is accepted. And so it can be kind of a scary and stressful time. And so we found a house they finally liked that was it was like 2 blocks away from their daughter. So it was like kind of the perfect house for them. Perfect location, right down the street. And so it was kind of the moment of like, I don't want anything to go wrong for them at this, because this was their house. So we made the offer, they accepted it with our contingency of us selling, which then we had to get their house ready to sell. We hadn't even got there yet. So they accepted it. And so now it's kind of the rush of getting that going and making them feel not as stressed, but it is kind of that stressful moment. And
you got a timeline for sure.
You're guiding them and making sure everything's kind of in a row. And the other thing is pricing it accordingly.
A mistake in pricing at that point can be
huge,
drastic.
Right? So if we're too high, we're going to sit too long and then possibly getting bumped, and just a train wreck of things that can happen. So we priced them right, and within 3 days had an offer, and we accepted it right away, and we got it to close on the same day. So they were able to close on their house to finance the other house. It's kind of the in-between things that are always like, okay, what's going to happen, the unknown, because we also had to get through the contingencies on their house when you have the bump, and we have to get through inspection contingencies and the 10-day rescission period. And so there's always those 10 days that you're scared something can happen, and everybody's kind of waiting. And of course we got through it, and they were able to move in, and now they're close to their daughter. So they were very happy, and it was a huge success story. I think the only thing at the end was moving out on time, which can be an issue, because the other people are moving in and they had to sell their house, so they had to wait to move. It was, kind of a cluster.
That last day it gets
Yeah.
chaotic.
Yep.
That's for sure.
So I went out of my way and actually helped them move.
Did you?
And I
there
went
you go.
Put on the shirts and shorts and got in there and started hustling all the boxes for them and getting it ready. So
that's going above and beyond.
above
That's
and
for
beyond,
sure.
yeah.
We have this saying on our team. It's called pulling the weeds. When you got to help your client out and they need something, whether it's moving their house, hopefully we don't have to do that very often,
Right.
But if you have an agent that's able to go above and beyond like that helps you through those stressful moments and goes out of their way to do something outside of what a real estate agent does to kind of set those things up is huge. And luckily, Eric, you were there for them to be able to do that. And I think when it comes to a seller in that situation, knowing that when you have a house to sell and you're buying one, there's so many different options for you. There's so many different ways that you can do it. And then also understanding the problems that may come with buying a house and then selling yours, of understanding when you have a sale of property contingency that it can be bumped. And a lot of people even know that, and how to structure that deal to make it work, or that time frame for moving out. The number one recommendation I have is, man, hire movers. There's every single time, it's always just a mad dash on that. And also I think in that situation too is as much as you can have your house ready if you're going to sell it and you're buying, because you never know when that right house is going to be there, especially in a market like this where houses are moving really quickly. Having that ready, you know exactly how stressful it is for that seller or buyer at that point to be like, I have a house that I love. Now I have to sell my house in a time frame pretty quickly, but it's not ready.
Right.
That's huge. But hey, you made it through it. I think you made some happy clients. So good on you for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Pulling the weeds.
Moving
Moving boxes. Now, hey, Eric does free moving
exactly.
for all of his listings.
Yep.
Hire him. If you're ever interested in working with Eric in any of your real estate endeavors, or even just want to ask him a question, hey, click the link below and you connect directly with him. If you're interested in hearing a little bit more about the Lenhart team and seeing how we can help you take your real estate career to the next level, click the link below and connect with me and Josh.